the truth behind the Cleveland Cavaliers' new signing, Thomas Bryant. A full breakdown of his game, why this signing is so shocking that it was so easy to make, and more on Thomas Bryant in this video. As you're going to see here, Thomas Bryant is a phenomenal stretch, and we're going to break down more of that here on Cavs Digest, as well as how his contract plays a factor into the Cleveland Cavaliers' future, and why I fully believe that the signing of Thomas Bryant is a perfect fit for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hey everyone, Matt playing Cavs Digest here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Sunday. I'm sure some of you guys are watching football, but if you're not, I hope you're here today at Cavs Digest just to find out more details surrounding Thomas Bryant, because when I tried breaking down Thomas Bryant, it was around when it happened, I believe within the hour that Thomas Bryant got signed. So I was a little excited, and when I made the video, I didn't really give a full breakdown of Thomas Bryant's game and a full breakdown of the signing itself. I was kind of just being really excited and sharing the news with you guys, giving a little bit of my opinion, talking highly of Thomas Bryant, but I think now this is a good chance to dive deeper into the signing and why it's a perfect fit for the Cavaliers. So if you enjoy that, go ahead and like this video first, but also subscribe to the channel, because just under 72% of you are not subscribed, and I really recommend joining the Cavs Digest team here, especially when we are pushing out videos like this and trying to get, when the season starts, you get the pre-game and post-game thoughts surrounding the Cavaliers, as well as injury updates, trade rumors, and all that good stuff. So you should go ahead and subscribe to Cavs Digest. A lot of new people have subscribed since Thomas Bryant, so I appreciate you guys for coming back. But let's get into it. So the Cleveland Cavaliers signed Thomas Bryant on Tuesday, September 23rd. September 23rd it was. And they signed him in the middle of the day, in the middle of September, on Tuesday, September 23rd. It was just random. It came out of nowhere, but it broke the internet for Cavs fans. Cavs fans were super ecstatic. I did not see one negative thought about Thomas Bryant, and rightfully so. I showed you in the intro Thomas Bryant's game. You kind of got to watch him stretch the floor when he was with the Heat a couple years ago. But now we get to talk about what he's done in the Pacers and his whole career, and talk about why the signing is so good. So Thomas Bryant was signed to the Cavaliers on this deal. This is the first thing we're going to talk about, is the contract. Thomas Bryant's contract is a very, very small cap hit. It's nothing crazy. It's just $3 million, vet minimum for 1 year. So what that means essentially is that Thomas Bryant is a no-risk and probably a high-reward player. You get the best backup center, one of the best backup centers in the NBA. And I was at Game 5 in the Cleveland versus Pacers, where the Cleveland Cavaliers season ended, and I got to watch this guy torch our starting big men just by being able to box out and being able to crash boards, as well as stretch the glass. So essentially with Thomas Bryant, you get this there's no risk and high reward potential with only a $2.3 million cap hit. Essentially the cheapest deal you can give someone, and that was the biggest question mark going into this offseason, was the Cleveland Cavaliers and their second apron. So that's the first big thing, and I was so shocked that the Cleveland Cavaliers were able to retain, or were able to obtain Thomas Bryant, because there were so many teams interested in him. And if you don't know, early in the offseason, he was actually linked to almost signing an overseas deal. And I just don't know how Thomas Bryant was able to almost be out of the NBA at 28 years old and a great backup center. So now let's kind of dive more into some of the facts that we actually just got. This is per Chris Fedor. The Cavs liked Thomas Bryant at the start of free agency. They were debating him versus Larry Nance Jr. They believe Bryant has a different skill set. He can shoot from behind the arc. He can pull defenders away from the perimeter. There's a couple big things to that. Jarrett Allen can shoot, but Jarrett Allen's a good rebounder. Evan Mobley can shoot, but he's more of a rim protector than a rebounder. So now you get a guy that can rebound for $3 million. And when it came to talking about Larry Nance that Chris Fedor mentioned, I'm not sure how true that is, I'll be honest, but the Cavaliers were able to get both. And it seemed as if Thomas Bryant might have been iffy on signing with the Cavs at first, or if the Cleveland Cavaliers just didn't pull the trigger on offering him the deal. Either way, they now have him, and no complaints there, obviously. So he started his career on the Lakers. I believe he played 15 games up top. He ended up getting released and then signed, or just didn't re-sign with the Lakers, signed to the Wizards, had a breakout season of 10 points, and then 13 points and 14 points when he was with Washington. So he was very, very good to start his career when he was in his early 20s. And a lot of people were eyeing him as a center. Hence why he was able to get a good deal for the Lakers again, and the Lakers gave him another shot in which he averaged 12 points, but he then ended up in Denver that same season where he didn't do too much. But another thing you could see is that he actually has started games. For the Wizards, he was a hefty starter. He started 50 games, 30 games, 18 games, and that's big. That's really, really big that the Cleveland Cavaliers have a guy that's able to start. One thing I didn't mention that is also a big positive about Thomas Bryant is the fact that he has finals experience. Granted, they lost, but they went to 7 games against one of the best teams of all time, the Oklahoma City Thunder last year. As I said, they lost, but he went to 7 games, so he got to play 7 finals games in which he wasn't putting up points, but when he comes in the game, he is able to stretch the floor. And that's so big for a guy like Donovan Mitchell. Think about it. Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs sometimes isn't the most efficient three-point shooter, and he's never been the most efficient three-point shooter, but he can create those shots. The biggest thing about Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs is that he is the best slasher I basically have ever seen at points. He slashes at an elite level. Basically, it's whatever he wants in the paint, floaters, reverse layups, whatever he wants to do, he's able to create insane shots in the paint. And that means that now those shots are going to be way easier because you're going to have centers having to go to the perimeter to guard Thomas Bryant. And if those centers decide to help, then you have Thomas Bryant in the corner, on the wing, top of the key, off a pick and pop, whatever, to shoot the ball. That is perfect for Donovan Mitchell. So diving more into his career, again, in the clips that I showed you, it was him in Miami being able to shoot. So he's always had a good eye for stretching the perimeter. He's always been utilized in that way. One thing that people have raised questions on is can he stay healthy, because he does sometimes miss games for injury, but it's not like a Lonzo situation. It's not like Darius Garland. This guy is pretty healthy for the most part. He has missed time and time over some seasons, as you can see over there with Washington earlier in his career, or if you can see it down below in Miami. Sometimes this guy does miss time, but overall last year he was healthy for the most part, and he's able to start almost 10 games, and he was able to play almost all the playoffs. So Cavs could be pretty confident. Plus, he's a backup. Worst comes to worst, he has to miss some time. You play the same lineup that you played last year in the regular season, but in the playoffs you get TB, and you have a great backup center. I would argue one of the best backup centers in the league. It's really tough to compete with a guy like Thomas Bryant just as a fit to the Cavaliers. So now, per what Chris Fedor said talking about the Larry Nance stuff, one of the biggest question marks for me before we signed Thomas Bryant was, can Larry Nance play the center? Now you don't have to worry about that. Larry Nance is more of the veteran guy off the bench. Thomas Bryant is more of the younger guy that can stretch the floor and is going to be that center. Larry Nance really is kind of undersized and older, so him playing the backup center was a little bit scary for me. And that's why it was kind of like, there was something shocking about the fact that the Cavs were willing to not get a backup center for a while. And it really just, it was kind of a mic drop moment when Thomas Bryant signed to the Cavaliers, because it means that the Cavaliers did realize that they had an issue at the backup center spot. And the offseason started off questionable when the Cleveland Cavaliers let Ty Jerome walk for less money than they paid Sam Merrill. And a lot of fans, including myself, were a little disappointed when that happened. But Ty Jerome now is on the Grizzlies. And as I showed you, that this cap hit is almost little to none. And the Cleveland Cavaliers shockingly got Thomas Bryant off of going overseas, off of the Warriors, who have had one of the worst off seasons for Warriors fans. They've been tweaking about getting guys such as Thomas Bryant, getting guys like Al Horford. Now we don't have to worry about guys like Al Horford. Now we don't have to worry about anything because the Cleveland Cavaliers got their backup center for such a cheap price, which I still can't believe. And it's opened up a whole new ceiling for the Cavaliers next season with Thomas Bryant, who's also going to wear number 3 next season. I'm pretty sure he wore that last year with the Pacers. He was able to be number 3, so this is a jersey swap of Thomas Bryant on the Cavs wearing number 3. Looks great, doesn't it? I love this fit so much, and I'm sure you guys love the signing as much as I do, but I kind of just want to go through more details, some of the shocking stuff about how they chose Larry Nance over him maybe, as well as just the fact that he was able to be a Cavalier is just still shocking to me. So thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. I hope you guys learned a lot about Thomas Bryant, why this signing is great. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to this channel for more content, share this video with your friends, and thank you guys for joining me here. I'm Matt Planger here on Cavs Digest.